This right here is Gatekeeper at Cedar Point. And let's just say that this coaster confuses me. There is just something interesting about this coaster. I can't decide if it's boring, slow, and kind of pointless, or if it's actually a pretty fun ride. But lucky for you, we're going to be figuring all of that out. So, let's get started. Gatekeeper is located at the one and only Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. This is a B&M wing coaster standing 170 feet tall, featuring just over 4,000 feet of track, reaching a top speed of 67 miles per hour with 6 inversions. This coaster was manufactured by B&M and is a wing coaster. If you don't know what a wing coaster is, it's basically where you are hanging off the side of the tracks. So there is no track beneath you, but it is on your side, so it does make for a unique riding experience. These feature your standard B&M vest restraint. Are they fine? Yes, but are they good? Not really. They get very tight throughout the ride experience. All of the G-force just pushes the restraint back, and it can get pretty tight sometimes. So this is definitely something to be aware of. This coaster looks spectacular. The color scheme is amazing, honestly. And the placement of it at the front of the park, where you go over the front entrance, it's amazing, honestly. Walking into Cedar Point for your first time and seeing this as the front entrance, probably the best front entrance experience you'll get at most amusement parks. It's just unreal, honestly. Think you've driven a couple hours, you're super excited for your day at Cedar Point, and you walk up to the front entrance and see this, it's almost impossible not to be excited for your day. And that's honestly the point of this coaster, is to look really nice and get you excited for your day. But is it actually a good ride to ride? But before we get to that, we do have to take into account that this coaster often has a fairly long line. Now, is it anything crazy like Maverick or Steel Vengeance level? Absolutely not. But I would be prepared, especially on busier days, to wait upwards of an hour. The capacity is decent enough. The trains hold 32 passengers. It can operate with up to 3 trains, but the last few times I've been to Cedar Point, it has only been operating with 2 trains, which does affect the capacity a little bit. Basically, moral of the story, you'll probably have to wait a decent amount of time, but it should hopefully not be anything too crazy. But alright, is this a good ride experience? Should you take precious time out of your day at Cedar Point to come take a ride on Gatekeeper? Or is it overrated and you should just skip it? Well, let's find that out by going through the ride experience of Gatekeeper element by element. After hopefully not too long of a wait, you dispatch from the station and immediately make a right turn and begin ascending up the lift hill. As you ascend up the lift hill, you have the beautiful view of Cedar Point to your right, and also a really cool view of Lake Erie to your left. So definitely take it all in on the lift hill. This will also help if you're a little nervous to ride Gatekeeper. Take a look out around at the sights and just kind of taking them in and appreciating it, and not think about how high up you are. It should hopefully help. Before you know it, you're at the top of the lift hill, get an amazing view of Lake Erie and Cedar Point and everything, before slowly turning over, inverting, as you begin to drop. Now hold on a second. What just happened? For me at least, this is hands down, without a question, the best part of the ride. This drop is insane. If you're riding in the front, you are inverted, slowly rolling for what feels like forever. And if you're in the back, you get yanked over that drop, and it's just amazing. Easily best part of the ride, highlight of the ride, whatever you want to call it. It's really good. I'd say it's one of the better drops at Cedar Point. Now, is it like Steel Vengeance level? No, but it's still really good. You're then met with some good positive G's before heading up into an element, with a really nice head chopper right there. So it's not the best element, but it's fine. Alright, you start off with a bang, and it's been a solid ride experience so far. Well, then you hit this airtime hill. Remind me, this airtime hill does literally nothing. It literally does nothing. You kind of just sit there. Like, unfortunately, this element, it really just does not do anything. And it is unfortunate, because this has been a pretty solid start to the ride, and then you kind of hit, I want to say a buzzkill, but it does kind of throw off the ride pacing, you could say, at the beginning. So that is a little unfortunate. But if you are able to look past this not great element, it's still a solid ride after this. You then head into a pretty epic corkscrew with some, I'd say, maybe not hang time, but you're definitely floating there a second. And then you enter, you could say, the climax of the ride. This is what it has been leading up to. The signature keyhole elements, providing one of the best head choppers you're gonna get. I mean, this is just cool. You feel like you are so much closer to those keyholes than the POVs make it feel like. You do get some, like, I'd say decent hang time through it all. I mean, these two back-to-back elements and how scenic they are, it's honestly great. I mean, it's hard to find an element that mixes like hang time, a really good head chopper, and then just looks flat out amazing and super cool and fun. But before you get to do that all again, you enter this incline dive loop, which is basically just your turnaround. But you do get another inversion there, before getting yet another really good head chopper element with some solid hang time. Now, unfortunately, the ride experience does go pretty downhill from here. You gently glide into the mid-course brake run, losing a fair amount of speed. But here's the surprising thing, there's barely anything left. You go into a shallow drop before going into a, I must say, forceless and quite boring helix, before rising into another one of those unfortunate air tunnels that doesn't really do anything, and then you're kind of done. Now, the first time I rode this, I was kind of surprised and a little disappointed at that ending. It was honestly a pretty fun ride throughout, like, earlier in the ride and everything. Then we kind of hit the mid-course brake run, and it just didn't do anything, and then ended. I guess you could say it left somewhat of a sour taste in my mouth. But after revisiting Cedar Point twice, getting the ride a couple more times, I've come to appreciate Gatekeeper for what it truly is. This is meant to be a simple, fun ride. It's meant to get you super excited for your day. It's meant to provide a nice, fun ride experience, but it's not going to, like, rip your face off or make you feel nauseous or anything after. That's its sole purpose. Just be a fun, nice ride to ride every once in a while. This wasn't built to be the standout attraction at Cedar Point, be the best ride, be like Steel Vengeance level. This was just meant to provide a fun, supporting cast ride to Cedar Point's lineup. But I think it gets a fair amount of undeserved hate for not being the most intense coaster. It just wasn't built to be that. I would definitely recommend at least getting a one ride on Gatekeeper whenever you visit Cedar Point, because honestly, it's just a really nice, fun ride to do every once in a while. You shouldn't have to wait too long. It looks super cool to look at in the queue and everything. And yes, it's not the most intense or best coaster, but it's still fun. One thing to note though is if you do sit on the outside seat, it will have a bit of a rattle. Nothing crazy, but it's definitely a little shaky in spots. So if you really don't like roughness or whatever, sit closest to the track. It will help a lot with that. Anyway, I give this coaster a 7 out of 10. Is it the best coaster? No, but it's still a fun, nice ride that's not bad whatsoever, of course. I would definitely say that this is an underrated coaster at Cedar Point, and I think you should take a ride on it. Oh, and if you do like roller coasters and want to see more reviews and just general theme park and roller coaster content, then a sub to the channel would be fantastic. I'm also trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of 2025, and I'm really close and I need your help. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all in the next one. Hold up, before you go, I actually forgot something. Because remember I kept talking about Maverick and like how good of a drop it had and everything? Yeah, this is Maverick, and it's an absolutely crazy coaster, and it is a must ride at Cedar Point. And this coaster might just be the best one at Cedar Point. So you want to see another review just like this for Maverick, then check out the video on your screen right now. Alright, thank you guys for watching, I'll see you all in the next one.